Hello and welcome back, baseball fans. This is This Week in Baseball, Season 3, Episode 5. Joining me today here, we've got Joe and Jenny. How are y'all doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Good to hear. We're 5-6 weeks into the season here now. We're getting into it. We're late May already, so we've got plenty to talk about. Stuff's always happening in baseball, and this week was no exception. But as always, we will start with our standings update. So we'll start in the American Leagues. I think I started with the National League last week. But out west in the American League, the leader of that division, we have the Houston Astros with a record of 26-15. In the AL Central, we have the Minnesota Twins with a record of 24-16. In the East, we have the New York Yankees with a record of 29-10. In the West, we have in the West of the National League, I should say. The NL West, we have the Dodgers, the record of 27-12. In the National League Central, we have the Milwaukee Brewers with a record of 26-19. And in the NL East, we have the New York Mets with a record of 27-15. Anything surprising to the two of y'all about the records or the standings at all? Or is that just about where we expected to be at this point?
The Twins are a bit better than I was expecting. I was expecting them to compete for the division, but I didn't expect them to be as good as they are right now.
Yeah, they're 4.5 games up on the White Sox, who are at 19-20.
Yeah, that and the Braves not being at the top from the beginning of the year is surprising, but the Mets are good.
Yeah, the Mets have the biggest lead in any division. They are 7 games ahead of the Braves, who are at 19-21. Granted, a lot of these teams are dealing with some pretty big injuries, but like the White Sox not being above 500, same thing with the Braves. Both of those are shocking, I feel like that's not where anyone kind of expected it to be. But yeah, a lot of these teams we kind of thought were going to be here. I also thought the Twins were going to be good, but not this good. I thought they were going to very happily sit in second place all year, but injuries suck, and they really can turn the tides of baseball, or any for that matter. So anything else with any other division? Anything you guys got, or is that all you guys want to talk about standings there?
I was expecting the Angels to be leading the division, or at least the AL West being a bit closer than it is right now.
I mean, it's 1.5 games. They're not back by a lot.
Yeah, but the Angels have been weird. They've been dropping. Well, they went on that hot streak, but outside of that, it feels like they've been playing 500 ball for everything else.
Well, I mean, the Angels have been good this year. They've been a lot better than I expected. I thought they were going to be below 500 for the entire year. I did not expect much from them. But they had that hot streak. Now they're just on kind of the massive cold streak. 4-6 in their last 10. Not terrible, but I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of Angels fans on my Twitter timeline, and they like to complain about a lot of stuff. It seems like, but
yeah, I mean, this is the Angels team that everyone's been talking about for years. Where if they can stay healthy, they'll be good.
And they have been for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've stayed pretty healthy, which has been the Achilles heel, I think, of that team for the last few years. And so now that they've been healthy through about 40 games, it's showed they're above 500, and they're right there with the Astros, who were expected to be good. The Astros were always going to be a good team, no matter what we all thought. After
they went on their own hot streak pretty recently.
Yeah, the Astros, that division, it's those two, and Seattle, at least to me, has been really disappointing. I thought Seattle is going to be really good. They're 17-24. They also have been dealing with a lot of injuries. Robbie Ray hasn't been fantastic. But, I mean, yeah, and then Oakland and Texas are awful teams, so that's no surprise. We knew that. I know you're an A's fan, Jenny, but they're bad.
Yeah.
Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, moving on to another bad team. The Baltimore Orioles had their top prospect, debut this week in Adley Rutschman, one of the most anticipated debuts in the last several years. And Rutschman did get his first hit last night. It was a triple, at least for now. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it to a double in error with Brett Phillips bobbling the ball around and right. But went 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout yesterday, and it was a solid debut. I don't think the Orioles won. I could be wrong about that, but I can double check really fast. I'm pretty sure they lost. But Adley Rutschman finally making his debut. What do you guys think that means for the rest of these young prospects that could be getting the call here soon? Rutschman, only an injury kept him back. We all expected him to be up to start the year, but then I think he was a injury, if I remember correctly. They kept him out. But what do you think this means for the Orioles moving forward, or just prospects as a whole moving forward?
I don't think it means much for Baltimore. I mean, the big thing with Adley is that it's not like he was a super elite hitter. It's just that he did everything solidly above average. I mean, he's not an offensive force like Wander Franco, who I think is the last prospect who had the sort of hype that Adley has. He's not going to fix their team overnight. I mean, their pitching is still rough. Outside of him, that lineup really doesn't. It's Trey Mancini and him that are keeping that lineup afloat. I don't think this really means anything outside of just the AL Rookie of the Year race, which is going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no difference. This is probably the start of all the guys coming up. I mean, Hall, Rodriguez, if they can get some more infielders, like, I don't know, Mountcastle's good, Hayes is good, Mullins is good. So they have the start of a good team, and it's just slowly bringing them up and buying players. Like, this is just the start.
I think they're caught in a bit of a weird spot, though, because, like, they have all these good players coming up, obviously, but the players that are in the majors right now, they're sort of stuck in a bit of a twilight zone where they're not young enough to be exciting and hot and fresh, but they're a bit older to be sticking with the team for 3 or 4 years down the line, which is when we're going to see all these prospects called up.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was about to say there. Like, I agree with what Joe just said there. It's a very good start. This team should be good here in the next couple of years. It's just they got to make those right moves in free agency and maybe a couple of trades here and there, see what they can get. But give it 3 years, and this Baltimore team should be contending again. 3 years sounds like a long time, but for how bad the Orioles have been, for how long they have been bad, like, that seems like nothing at this point. But we'll see. Rutschman, I'm excited to see how his career starts here, especially since other guys who've been called up this year, with like Spencer Torkelson, Bogwin Jr., have started off extremely slow. So I'm curious to see if Rushman has that same adjustment period, or if he just kind of comes out of the gate firing. But moving on to another rookie debut we got yesterday, that kind of got overshadowed by Adley. I think it's Matthew Liberatore and then Nolan Gorman were both called up. It was a really cool story. If you haven't seen it, I recommend go checking it out somewhere. I'm sure you can Google it and find it. It's not that hard. But these two were childhood friends, came up in the system together and got called up on the same day. Liberatore made his debut yesterday. I don't think Gorman got into the game. I could be wrong about that. I didn't look that far into it because I don't enjoy looking up the Cardinals in my spare time. Anyway, but Liberatore went 4 2/3, 4 earned runs with 3 strikeouts in his debut yesterday. Not a terrible debut, but he has been a pretty highly anticipated pitcher, and this kind of goes along with a lot of these prospects being called up. Like, it's not necessarily just the Orioles system. Now you see the Cardinals doing it, who are a team that has been well above 500, and as they say, have the winningest culture in baseball, as Cardinals fans like to say. This is all at Carson that I have to listen to once a week on this week and Sunday Night Watch Party. But they do win a lot, unfortunately. But like, this is a good team calling up these young guys. Like, is this something we're going to see kind of more? We just kind of talked about it a little bit, but are these better teams going to start calling up these young guys as well? Like, what do you think that means for the above 500 teams, those teams that were and are leading other divisions and all that?
I mean, I think it's like these guys have no pressure on them, and they're not calling them up to make the team kind of better. It's more like guys get hurt, they're going to be the next up anyway, so we might as well get them in and get some innings. Like, I don't know, Shane McClanahan's an example where they brought him up like the last game of the regular season in the playoffs, and now that like he's their ace, like last year just kind of looks like, all right, just get some innings and see what it's like, and then next year you're going to run with it. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, these guys aren't going to be impact guys just yet, but eventually they will be.
I don't really know what other teams are going to do in response to this. I don't know if these teams are over 500 for a reason. Do you really want to be making changes to something that's been working? I don't really think so. When you look at the Cardinals, the reason Gorman was called up was because Paul DeJong was just doing terribly. And their rotation hasn't been the healthiest, so that's why Liberatore was called up. It's not necessarily that they're trying to... I need to word this carefully, because Gorman and Liberatore are good players. It's not that they were called up to finally make the transition to the major leagues. They were called up because somebody needed to play, and they were the next men up.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you just very much butchered two of those names in that last sentence. Is it not Liberatore? And it's definitely DeYoung, but I could be wrong.
I don't listen. I turn off announcers and I turn on my own music.
Fair enough. Yeah, DeYoung has been awful this year, and their rotation did kind of need that depth help. You're right. I don't think it means a whole lot for these contending teams, but also you definitely have teams like the Dodgers who call up some nobody who can throw 102 miles an hour, and then we'll have like a 0.7 ERA out of the bullpen for like 35 innings, and then they'll just send him down because they don't need him anymore. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. But
yeah, if it works, it works.
Right now,
along
the same lines.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, who cares? You're already doing well enough.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I don't know. The story was really cool. If you haven't heard it, I do encourage you to go look it up. It's a cool story, and these are guys that I know Cardinals fans have been very excited for a long time. So I guess we'll jump from some young guys to some older guys here. We've got let's talk about Justin Upton first, who signed with the Seattle Mariners this week. I thought it was an interesting move. The Mariners haven't lived up to the expectations that they've had. And Justin Upton also hasn't lived up to expectations he's had, or at least in his time in Anaheim. Do you guys think this is a good move? Do you think it's going to do much for the Mariners? What are y'all thoughts?
Well, obviously he's their Jared Kelenic replacement. They've obviously given up on him already. No.
Well, Mitch Haniger's hurt too.
Yeah. Did he burst the other testicle? I don't really know what to make of the move, because the Mariners aren't in a win now position. They probably won't be for a couple of years. I mean,
I think they very much are in a win now position.
Really?
Or they could be. What do you mean by that? Like, I guess that's what I mean.
Well, to me, a win now position is when you're selling off the future to win now. Sort of like Tigers in the mid to late 2010s, sort of like that.
Okay, I got it.
A lot of their young prospects are just getting called up. I mean, like George Kirby, Matt Brash, Julio Rodriguez. It's not like their window of contention is closing anytime soon.
Yeah, okay, that's where the disconnect was. I was thinking a very different thing when you said that. No. Okay, I'm on the same page now. Keep going. Yeah. Sorry.
And I don't think right now would be, even if they were trying to go for a win now move, I don't think now is a good time for it, because when you look at the other teams at the division, specifically the Astros and the Angels, those teams are pose a hefty challenge to a team like the Mariners. I don't think that any sort of win now move should be made. I think that they should just wait for the right opportunity, wait for a weak year by either of those teams to try and win the division. I know it's been a long streak of postseason absences for the team, but I don't think you can sacrifice your future for a very temporary gain right now. And Justin Upton is certainly not going to be what puts them over the edge compared to the Angels or the Astros.
This move sucks. Justin Upton sucks. He hasn't hit over 220 ever not ever, the past 3 years.
In a while.
On base is under 310 past 3 years. Like, he's a locker room guy. This sucks. I don't know. He's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
This is when you bring up a kid who's like, the Mariners already brought up a ton of kids, so maybe not them, but like any other team, like you're bringing someone else up and see what they can do and go from there. Like, I don't know. Justin Upton's not the first thought of free agent guy that's going to make a difference.
You're not wrong. I think Upton's not good. Like, that's just a fact. Justin Upton is not a very good baseball player anymore. But they do have all these young guys that veteran presence in the locker room could mean a lot to them. And plus, it's not costing the Mariners anything.
It was a minor league deal, wasn't it?
I think it was a league minimum deal. I don't think it was minor league. Could be wrong about that. But you have guys like Julio, and I guess Kelnick's not exactly there anymore to be around that presence. But like, I think Julio especially now that I don't think this is that known, but Haniger is going to be out probably until at least late June. They kind of need help in that outfield, and Kelnick just wasn't doing it much. So they sent him back down to hopefully work on some things, and hopefully we can see him put it together. Because I liked Kelnick a lot. I was really hoping he'd turn around this year. I think he just needs a little bit more time in the minors, but we'll see. But yeah, this move sucks. I think they're kind of hoping maybe they can get like an Albert Pujols kind of production out of them, because from the Dodgers, and then now the Cardinals are getting something out of them. I think that might be what they're trying to do at this point. But other than that, I don't see this move helping all that much. It's a very lateral move, in my opinion.
This is just a move to please the fans in the front office, saying we're doing something.
Honestly, that's probably fair. That's probably it. But it's not like it improved the team all that much.
Not at all.
Yeah. Anyway, from one old guy to another old guy, we'll talk about. Let's go. You want to do Scherzer or Verlander first? We can talk about either one.
I have bad memories with both.
Let's go Verlander.
All right, Verlander. Justin Verlander's been absolutely insane this year. Through 8 starts. Oh, I had it up. Let me pull it back up again. I pulled up his Savant numbers instead, which are also insane. It's all red. But through 8 starts, Verlander has a 1.22 ERA and 51 2/3 innings pitched. He's just been a monster. 2.99 ERA plus, a .716 WHIP, a 278 FIP. These numbers are better than his Cy Young years. And granted, he just came off of this major injury. He's, 40?
39.
How old is he? 39, sorry. He's 39. Is Justin Verlander going to pull just, the greatest, comeback from, Tommy John we've ever seen?
I don't even think it's that much of a comeback just because of how good he was. And this is,
right.
Expected Verlander. He hasn't thrown in a year and a half before this, so that definitely helps. He was very good before this, so this is just kind of the only thing surprising is just how old he is that he's doing this. If you said Justin Verlander was good, it's not a surprise. It's just he's 39 and good.
The bad man won't go away.
Him and Greinke are in a competition of who can just pitch the longest.
Yeah.
And I mean, Verlander's weakness for going back to like 2019 has been solo home runs, and with the change in ball, I mean, that's not going to be an issue anymore. So, sky's limit.
You're not wrong. But yeah, like
Listen,
the
I'm
299 ERA plus.
I'm very tired of him. First, he spent his career in Detroit, kicking Oakland's butt out of the playoffs every year. Then he goes to Houston, keeping us from making the playoffs. Well, kicking us to the wild card game every year. At least we're not good this year, so it doesn't really matter.
I was gonna say I don't think Verlander's the issue here if the A's not making the playoffs.
Yeah, for a couple years he was but not anymore. The front office is your issue. But
297 win seasons in a row, both ending it up with wild card game losses. I'm very upset about that.
Yeah, honestly, I miss the good A's. Good A's were fun, but now they stink. But you can probably go to an A's game for like $4 now.
No, they hiked up the prices.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Back in high school, I remember I went to a game with one of my buddies, and it was Judge's rookie year because he was a Yankees fan. We went for like $5, like a seat.
Yeah,
they were
so
like outfield seats, but still.
That would have been 2017, so that would have been when the A's were still bad and before the ownership was trying to relocate.
Yeah, they weren't good yet. But I remember the game I did go to, I believe it ended in a Marcus Semien walk-off, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, it was good A's were fun. Bad A's aren't fun. Very bad for baseball as a whole. But Justin Verlander being 39 and just dominating all these guys is just insane. And I love to watch it. It's just cool. Anyway, moving on from Verlander to Scherzer. Scherzer, other old guy pitching, also still insane. But I don't know if this is age catching up to him, but he is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with some injury. I already forgot what it was.
Oblique.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, Scherzer, oblique injury, never good to have an injury that keeps you out for really any extended period of time at, what is he, 41? 41? No, he's 37. I lied.
Wow.
Max Scherzer's 30. Why did I think Max Scherzer was 40? Anyway, Max Scherzer's 37 still. Oblique injury. So far this season, he got, 8 starts, 2.54 ERA, a 1.53 ERA plus, 2.93 FIP. He's been good for Mets, or the Mets. He's everything that they were kind of hoping he'd be, except this injury here.
I don't think this is a bad injury.
Yeah, it's not
at the game he was like, I can't go again, and I think it's just him being cautious, knowing if I go out there and try to be the hero, I'm going to get hurt way worse. And they know they have a division lead and they need him healthy. So I feel like this is really a 2-week injury, maybe 3-week injury, and they're just going to really take their time with him and just bring him back fully. And so I don't think it's that bad, but it still sucks.
I don't disagree with what you said last, but everything else leading up to that I did. I wouldn't expect this to affect Scherzer that much. I mean, he's got that dog in, quite literally, Mississippi State Bulldog.
That dog.
That dog.
He's proven time and time again he's a very resilient pitcher. He's very he wants the ball in his hand and will do whatever it takes to get the ball in his hand. So I wouldn't expect him to struggle coming back from injury, nor would I expect him to be out particularly long. I don't expect this to be like Mike Trout's calf injury from a year ago, where it just kept getting longer and longer and longer, and until it eventually kept Trout out for the rest of the season.
I mean, yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's not like this isn't a major insane injury. I think, Joe, you kind of hit it spot on. It's more of you have a 7-game lead in the division in May. So I mean, we don't want you to get hurt more than you need to be. It sucks that he's going down. He's one of the most electric pitchers in the game. And we'd love to watch Scherzer go out there every fifth day and dominate other teams. But it's really understandable. You don't want him out for longer than he needs to be. So precaution's always a better thing. Not exactly. You go for it.
They built themselves a lead that they can afford to kind of let him sit for a little bit and then have him and DeGrom both come back healthy in July. I know it may or may not be that long, but if you can leave the All-Star break with both those guys coming back and the rest of the team is healthy, that's a scary team.
Oh, yeah. The most cliche thing you'll hear from, I'm sure, Mets fan base, getting guys like Scherzer and DeGrom back off the IL in July is just as good as a big trade acquisition.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not completely false. It's kind of is. I know a lot of people hate that way, that saying, the phrase, but I mean, frankly, it's just kind of true.
If you want to get theoretical about it, it's not the same because, all right, so when you're getting guys back from injury, you're returning to what was assumed to be your level of performance. When you're adding a guy from a trade, you're increasing your expected level of performance. When you're evaluating a team, you pretty much always assume when fully healthy, this is what they're going to do. And so getting guys back from injury, the injury list, isn't going to improve that outlook. It's just going to return to what that outlook was.
I mean, I think it depends when they got injured and I don't know, there's a lot of factors where DeGrom hasn't played all year and they knew he wasn't going to start the year. So their expected was way lower than if he started the year and then got hurt and then came back.
Yeah, but they're expecting him to come back.
Right. Yeah. But if they had DeGrom to start the year, they'd have 6 more wins.
Yeah, but they're going to get 6 more wins once he comes back compared to if he started the year and then got injured.
Yeah, but he didn't start the year. That's
but if he did...
I think you're talking yourself in a circle.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by
whatnot?
Anyway, Scherzer should be back sometime June. I'd expect maybe July, depending on how long they want to keep him out. But either way, hope he recovers well because the game is better with Max Scherzer pitching. But anyway, we'll move on from that. But we will stay in New York. We'll talk about New York and Baltimore a little bit more as this week Boone had a comment about the new ballpark out in Baltimore, the left field wall. And he said, this is at a game, I believe it was 5 days ago, where Judge was robbed of third home run or something along those lines. Boone says he almost had 3 homers, but build your own park got him. That's the quote from Aaron Boone, talking about the new left field dimension they have there, which is the weird pushed back, jagged edge ballpark there, or wall there. And then even Trey Mancini said that the hitters don't like it, but it's not something you can think about when you're at the plate. You just kind of have to go in and hit. But it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, the way Boone has said it. I feel like Joe looks like he's got some.
I have so many thoughts.
Say words, Joe.
First thing, them moving the wall back is the dumbest thing ever. Not even because the Yankees got robbed. I don't care. You're letting up so many home runs, not because your field is a barn box, because your pitching stinks. So instead of trying to fix the problem, you're just hurting your own hitters, and your pitching still stinks. Just get better pitching. But anyway, the same people that complain about that are the same ones that say Yankee Stadium's a little league ballpark, blah blah blah. There are MLB regulations that every field has to meet, and outside of that, you can do whatever you want to it. So it's not the Yankees' fault that their right field is short and your right field is 380 feet away. Bring it in if you want. It's just stop complaining. And if you complain about Yankee Stadium in a bubble of a series that you've played or like a game that you've played, like the Rangers did, you're playing there too. Like the field doesn't change for you guys too. Like season long, I understand like the right field home runs are juiced. That like I get it, but in a bubble of like this series, we got robbed, whatever. Like you're playing there, give it up. But that's it.
I'm a fan of parks having fucked up little things about them. You know, Triples Alley in San Francisco, the Foul Ground in Oakland, everything about the Trout, pesky pole, all of it's great. And so I'm a big, when it's not injuring people, it's great. I'm a big proponent of Grayson's Grove, as I'm going to start calling it, because obviously this was made with Adley Rutschman's battery mate, Grayson Rodriguez, in mind. I'm all for it. I mean, I think it gives Camden even more character. It was already one of the more colorful parks. This just adds to it, in my opinion.
I don't mind it when it like looks good. Like it looks so
terrible,
bad. Like if you want to with your dimensions, make it look good.
You gotta remember, you're talking to an A's fan right now, so like,
yeah, true. Get the raccoons out of the stands.
And there's
cats and possums.
Cats and possums.
The cats are cute.
But it's like they're just like, let's take left field and just push it back, and it
looks
so janky.
What if we take our problem and push it over here?
Exactly.
It looks like a 3-year-old made it. But anyway,
I thought baseball was supposed to be fun and unique and quirky.
Oh, I'm not like.
But make it look good at least.
Yeah, do we want every park to be cookie cutter?
No, but like you can make it like the Red Sox, like their right field pole is a joke, but at least it like juts out nice and then blends into center well, and it's like, I don't know, like this just looks so, there's no flow. It's like we're gonna put a pole right here and we're just gonna back this whole wall up, and that's that.
We got that on footage. We can blackmail him later. He was just a Yankee fan complimenting Fenway.
Hey, Fenway's a nice place.
It's a cool ballpark.
I hate Yankee Stadium. I hate the new Yankee Stadium. It's so bad compared to the old one.
I mean, as a fan of someone of a team in the Giants that also had a major like ballpark facelift reconstruction, whatever you want to say about it recently, there are better ways to do it. Like in San Francisco, the way they did it, the field still looks great. Like it looks good. They brought the wall in from left center in a bit. And a lot of teams, a lot of people, if you weren't watching Giants games regularly, would never have noticed because it looks seamless. Granted, it wasn't the same exact thing as you kind of take it and push it back, but there's so many ways you could have made this even look a little bit better. Like, it's just you have a jagged corner. Like, at least make it so like it starts to kind of blend back in a little bit. I think even doing that would have made it fine.
Just curve it out.
Yeah, curve it out, something along the sort. It just, I remember when it first was shown, like it made its first rounds on Twitter, people were like, yeah, that's a dangerous corner.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Imagine you're playing deep left field and you're like going for a ball in the gap and you're just like on the track or not looking, like you're going to smack a wall. I don't know, like even Houston's like hill in center field, like it's so ridiculous, but it like fits because it's deep in center and like you can like be quirky and still look good.
The hill was fun. It was terrible for players because of like injuries and all that, but like it was funny.
If it looks good, it's not quirky.
I mean, that's
putting the green monster in left field, that's quirky.
The green monster is ugly as shit.
The green monster is a staple of baseball at this point, whether you like it or not. But it isn't.
And soon Grayson's Grove is gonna be.
I thought, like, I don't remember if I saw this. I think it was something I made up. I thought I saw very early on someone calling it Camden's Corner. That little like area back there.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Imagine naming a place where home runs go to die and it's just doubles.
Yeah. I mean, we have Triples Alley in San Francisco.
Yeah, ask him all about it.
Yeah.
I hate how this
Triples Alley.
I messed up the
It's fine. Anyway, either way, the ballpark, I get Boone like saying like the build your own ballpark thing because it frankly is what it looks like. Should he have said it? I mean, probably not. But he's not wrong.
I mean, the last thing I have on this, Ryan Mountcastle hit a ball 400 feet that hit the wall. Any ball that's at 400 feet, no matter where it is, should not be anything less than a home run, no matter what.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I mean, the one Judge hit went 399. The double, the one that sparked all of us. It's one more foot and you're good, but
400 plus, always a home run.
I mean, I don't disagree. Anyway, besides all the problems that the Orioles park does have, and that the Orioles have as a team, they did beat the Rays this week on a 13-inning in a 13-inning game. It was a 2-run home run walk-off by Rougned Odor against the Rays. And I guess the only reason I'm kind of bringing this up because I feel like this is the longest extra inning game we've seen in a while. Correct me if I'm wrong there, if you guys remember anything longer. At least since the Manfred Ghost Runner has been implemented to shorten games. I don't think we've seen one this long in a bit. It seems like Joe's looking it up. I could be wrong.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. But the 13 innings, that's like exact opposite of what Manfred wanted. He wants this Ghost Runner to, get these teams to shorten it to 10 innings, 11 innings, or whatever. But 13, that's an extra 4 innings of baseball. And Rougned Odor, of all people, is the one who ends that game, especially since the Rays are a significantly better team. What is the extra inning rules? I hate them. What are your thoughts? Are we gonna see more games like this?
I'm indifferent. I don't. If you want to put a runner on second, that's fine. I don't really.
My only issue with it is that it unfairly benefits the home team.
Why is that?
Yeah, I mean,
home team can just a bunt sack fly him home. The pitcher can get 3 or 2 outs in this situation and still end up costing his team the win. Because the home team only has to play for 1 run in a tie game, whereas the away team has to play for as many as possible. It's not a major tilt, but it's still enough that it leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I think that's like a hindsight. Like
it's game theory, which is way too complicated to go in on here. But
I don't know. Leave them on. End the games early.
Okay,
they should add a runner every inning. So 10th inning, runner on second, 11th, first and second, 12th, bases loaded.
Just spitballing right here. I mean, why not have a situation where you could, if the game's tied after 9, you can decide who wins by totaling a team's hits, walks, and strikeouts by their pitchers, and whoever has the higher total gets the win.
What if it's the same?
It's a draw, and we'll deal with run differential at the end of the
ties
season.
in baseball.
No,
ties do not belong in baseball.
We got to bring back Game 163 somehow.
I mean, that's fair. I am going to miss Game 163s, but I don't like the extra inning rules just because I miss marathon games. Like I remember when I was younger, I would. Yes, I do.
You missed the idea of marathon games.
I remember vividly in high school watching a game between the Giants and the Nationals going to 18 innings, ending off of and it's scoreless through all of extra innings. Yusmeiro Petit threw 6 scoreless in extra innings. He had a quality start in the middle of extra innings. I missed that. It was so cool. Like, it was my favorite thing. I stayed up and watched that game for hours after I was supposed to be asleep.
Diego, what's your average bedtime now?
I'm just
That's
slightly
not
more enticed watching an extra inning game if I know there's runners on.
I mean, I get it.
It's like
I understand.
The slightest bit.
I get that. Yeah, because
9 times out of 10, I'm not watching it anyway because I don't care unless it's like the Yankees playing. But like, if I did care,
I mean, yeah, I guess. I did. I mean, once I see a game that's in like the 12th inning, third, I'm like, oh, I'm going to turn on that game to see how it ends. And a lot of the times, it's just kind of going to end in a pretty underwhelming fashion of like, oh, you got in the top of the inning, you didn't allow a run, and then you bunt, sack, fly in. Like, that's not super exciting most of the time. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I just can complain on the internet about extra inning rules.
Here's another idea that I just came up with. With all this drama around different types of baseballs being used, what if in extra innings you just bring in super juiced baseballs?
You just want man to go to jail, don't you?
Yeah, we all do. Anyway, honestly, I've heard worse ideas, but I think it'd be kind of funny. Anyway, enough about the extra innings here. We'll stay in the AL East here and talk about the Yankees a little bit here again. Mostly, or more specifically, Donaldson. Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson got into it this week, where Donaldson had apparently these two have had. I don't know if I want to call it bad blood. I don't know if that's technically kind of what it is. They've had their issues in the past. They're not friends by any means. But Josh Donaldson made a remark to Tim Anderson that was believed by Anderson and many others to be racially motivated, and it just was not. It doesn't belong in baseball. It's not good. And Donaldson's saying that's not what it was. He just kind of thought that these two were more buddy than they actually are, and all that. So I guess if you haven't looked into it, I encourage you to also go look into that because it's a lot more detail and everything that I am not currently equipped to tell you about. But nonetheless, what do you guys have any thoughts about the whole situation? I know, Joe, you're a Yankees fan, so I'm sure you saw a good amount of what this was, how it unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, even before this, like, I hate Josh Donaldson. I think he's a scumbag.
I feel like that's most Yankees fans are along that line.
The whole Garrett Cole thing, like, the guy's a scumbag. For this scenario, I mean, this was definitely motivated from the chirping that came like a week ago when Tim Anderson was sliding back in the third, and then Donaldson kind of like landed on him, tagged him, pushed him off the base, and it like there was a little dust up there. I get where Donaldson was saying it from and like the article and what Tim Anderson said and like why he said it, but that's one of those things where like, how do I word this the right way? Like Tim Anderson can say that about himself. His teammates can joke about it with him like that. That's not something that Josh Donaldson or anyone should like refer to him as or as a joke. Like, It's like I'm Tim Anderson. These are my boys. We're allowed to say this because that's just what it is. Like, no one else can say this to me. And it's like, I don't know. It's like picking on your little brother. Like, you're allowed to do it. You can, because that's your little brother. But as soon as someone else says the same thing, like, it's just a no-go in my book. So, like, you're not, after all the dust up that happened the week before and then this, like, there's better things to say, and you're not saying that as a joke. Like, maybe if the third base thing didn't happen, if there wasn't any bad blood the week before this week, like, maybe I get it. Like, you're referring to the article, it's a joke. But because of everything that's happened before, and I'm pretty sure they've had drama, like when he was in Minnesota and there was like a huge thing or something, but like,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Like, it's just, given what's happened before, it's just not what you want to say. And even if things didn't happen before, like, that's such a dumb, like, I don't know, just let him call himself Jackie Robinson and just keep it at that. Like, why do you have to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what, no matter whether it was an inside joke, no matter whether they were friends, Donaldson used Jackie Robinson's name in an attempt to degrade another black player. That's just unacceptable. No way to justify it in any way possible. It's simply ridiculous. I do think MLB is doing the right thing looking into it, and I think that if you, as a white person, uh, anybody who's not a person of color, if you look at this and if you feel like your opinion is relevant over whether or not Tim Anderson should feel the way he should feel, you need to shut up and reevaluate your decision making skills and life choices.
Yeah, I think that was very well said. Yeah,
And
that
like
was.
Tim Anderson may be a hothead and like a show off and whatnot, but like there's just certain lines whether or not you like a guy. Like new baseball hates Tim Anderson. I mean, old baseball, like the boomers hate Tim Anderson, and that's just the fact. But like there's certain lines you just don't cross whether or not you like him, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no place in it. There's no place in the game and anywhere in the world for comments like this, for behaviors such as this. But I think Jenny, what you said there was very well said, and I don't think there's much more to add on to that. But we'll move on from that there. Move on to kind of our last talking point here. Mike Trout, the greatest baseball player in the world at the moment, reached 1,000 career runs this week, joining Willie Mays and A-Rod. And that's endless. Like that's it. So it's a pretty big accomplishment.
Especially since he had Albert Pujols sitting behind him for most of his career.
I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, Mike Trout. This is far from the last major milestone that he's going to reach in his career. But it's great to see him back. It's really nice seeing a healthy Trout playing on a team that isn't absolute garbage. But I guess the talking point here is what do you think? What do you think Trout does the rest of his career from this point on? I guess where does he go? He's achieved plenty. What else is he doing this year and the next few years? Anything you guys think exciting?
I mean, no, go ahead, Jen.
All right. Well, it's sad to even just think about, but time is running out on Trout's claim to the throne of baseball's best player. And his time's running out even to his claim on the throne of best Angels player. I mean, last year you can give him a pass because of injuries and whatnot, but with like Brandon Marsh, with Ohtani, obviously, with
Reed Detmers.
I mean, Taylor Ward's having a heck of a season. If he
Taylor
can keep
Ward is
all right.
But I really think that this year, next year, and I think that's going to be it on his run of undisputed dominance. I think we're going to see, Soto, we're going to see Acuna, we're going to see maybe Wander Franco is going to be the one who takes his crown. Maybe nobody's going to take his crown because we're going to go back to how it was like in the 2000s where there was no one player who was a clear cut above the rest. It's interesting to think about. It's sad to think about, and I'm glad we're getting to have these last few years with a healthy Trout where he's able to hit these milestones and we're able to celebrate him and appreciate him in a way he deserves.
Yeah, I think Trout's career is not going to be a smooth slope down. I think it's going to be a hard fall, unfortunately, with injuries and, like you said, time running out. And it just sucks seeing, some people still think this, but at one point he was, the greatest baseball player ever. And when people make those thoughts, it's on the assumption of, you're going to be healthy your whole career, you're going to play a long time, and it's we're starting to see that's not the case, and now other people are like Juan Soto's in the mix, Ohtani's in the mix, Vlad is pretty good, and it's like we kind of assume if these guys play their whole career, like they might be. We never saw like the big burst like Mike Trout and how good he was as quick as he came up, but like I think if these guys like Ohtani and Soto are healthy, like they're gonna be better, and it's like kind of hard to come to grips with. But
Yeah.
I really hope he doesn't have a.
Yeah, I don't wish him to get injured, but
yeah, I really hope he doesn't have an end of the career sort of like Pujols. I hope if he.
That is so sad.
Yeah, I hope whenever he's got like a 13-year contract signed a few years ago, so he'll be
signed through 2030.
Yeah, I hope when 2030 comes, he decides to walk. Seasons. He decides to walk away gracefully and buy a weather station in New Jersey in a storm chasing truck to ride around.
He'd be so happy. He'd be so happy about that.
He might be happier doing that than playing baseball.
Honestly.
I mean, it's kind of cool too because Mike Trout was the player that we were like, yeah, I can't wait to tell my kids we saw Mike Trout play, and like he was our like Willie Mays. But now there's so many guys that have that potential that it's like Mike Trout's kind of going to the back burner, and it's like, damn, I saw Shohei Ohtani play, saw our Ted Williams play. Like, I don't know.
I mean, Trout still is the guy. Like, Trout is the generational player, but and he's proven it already. He's done, like, you can't take that away from him. And you have a lot of guys with the potential to do so, but we have to kind of wait and see still. Trout has already done it, and we just kind of want to wait and see how this back end of his career turns out. And like Jenny had just said, like, I think at the end of his contract, I hope he also just kind of walks away, assuming that he's not, still insanely good at baseball. Like, imagining he is kind of like, dwindling down. But if he's still putting up like 7-8 WAR at age 38, I'm like, please keep going. But
I also think his like not non-marketability, but like the fact that they don't market him, it's like when he does ride off into the sunset, people are going to forget about him a lot faster than they should. When
it wasn't flashy.
Like when Ohtani retires, like there's going to be so many moments that we look back on, and like the All-Star game, and it's just like Mike Trout's kind of just like a shell, and
he's
just like
boringly good.
Yeah,
he's boring because of how good he is.
Yeah,
anything less than like a 170 OPS plus is like not great for Trout, and like that's saying so much.
Yeah,
like this man's insane.
And it's not like Bonds where, obviously Bonds was a better hitter than Trout, but it's not like Bonds where he was great in an exciting way, where he was breaking these home run records and whatnot, putting up these 500 OBP seasons. He's not getting walked with the bases loaded, unfortunately.
Corey Seager will.
I was looking for a way to make a joke. Didn't find it, but glad you did. He's great in a way that
he's who you want to bring home to mom and dad. Like, he's the just be very good, don't talk, like don't show anybody up. He's Boomers baseball's god.
He doesn't leave you going, wow, he just leaves you in quiet awe.
Just play well, shut your mouth, be very nice. And that's Mike Trout.
Be very nice. Yeah, I mean, he should hit he should hit 1,000 RBIs in the next couple of years here. He's at 840. That'd be another big one. He'll probably hit 400 home runs 2-3 years from now. He needs 80 more to get there. Let's see, what else? He's still keeping his career average above 300, career OPS over 1,000.
When he makes his like Hall of Fame voting, like when his time comes and we're going to be like the older generation of baseball, and like these kids are going to be watching, they're going to be like, who's Mike Trout? And then they're going to look at the baseball reference page, and it's going to be how we look at like Barry Bonds, where like everything is bold. Like that's going to be their Barry Bonds.
Yep, I think that's a fantastic way of putting it. Like he's that guy.
Yeah,
just plain and simple. He is that guy. And I'm just glad he's healthy again, doing awesome things.
Facts.
But he's already played more games this year than last year, so that's also good. All right. Well, that's really it for talking points that I wanted to bring up and discuss at all. Anything else from you guys that you thought of while we were recording this?
I'm all good.
All right. And if not, we will jump to our very last bit here, which we had last year, and I kept saying I wanted to bring back this year. I kept forgetting, but I remember this time we have our what to watch for this week. Game series. Always nice to know what to keep an eye on, what to keep an eye out for. So, what to watch for this week? Jenny, what are you watching?
I'm watching the Tigers go to Minnesota to play the Twins. I touched on it a bit earlier. The Twins have been really good this year. They lead the AL Central, but I was actually expecting the Tigers to be up there fighting for the division too. I was riding high on Torkelson. I was riding high on their rotation, but the rotation's been battered. Yeah,
There's literally every single starter from opening day is hurt, and it's so sad.
I'm really interested because I still think that the Tigers, they have the talent to win the division, but I think that this series is going to be a real big test, and I think it's going to be a very exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the Twins a lot this episode for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, Joe, who are you watching this week?
I'm just watching Phillies the whole week. They're on the hot seat. They played the Mets and the Braves this week. Phillies fans, at the beginning of the year, we're planning the World Series parade day route. Turns out you can't out-hit bad pitching as much as they thought they could, and bad defense.
It matters.
And it's like, I don't know, embarrassing is not the word, but like there were big holes on that team, and they just filled the wrong ones.
Yeah.
But good for the universal DH, because Bryce Harper would be useless without it.
Man, the NL East has got to be the funniest division between the Phillies and the Mets.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. But as for me, I mentioned this. This is my pick for this week. Yankees and Rays. Yankees have been obviously very good this year. The Rays are obviously a very good team. I just think that's going to be some high-powered baseball, a high-powered offense this year versus the Rays pitching, which is good year in, year out. It's just good. It just should be awesome baseball to watch for a series. So that's who I've got.
If the Yanks lose that series, I just want to get out ahead of it now and say that all of our pitchers are hurt.
All right, making excuses before you can even have.
Just in case.
Okay, what if they win?
That just shows the resilience of this team that everyone's hurt and we still win.
Okay, I wouldn't expect anything less from a Yankees fan.
Spirit of the Bronx coursing through them.
I will be throwing out standings tweets every month, no matter what.
All right, fair enough. Anyway, I think that's it for us here this week on episode 5? I already forgot what I said it was. I think it's 5 of This Week in Baseball. So if you don't know where to find us on the internet, how'd you get here? But if you do need to be reminded, you can find us at our website at diamond-digest.com, our Twitter at diamond_digest, and our Instagram diamond.digest. We're putting out a lot of really cool stuff. I think more now that summer's really hitting for a lot of our writers, we should expect to see a lot more articles coming out. A lot of things, a lot of cool people writing a lot of cool things. So if you haven't checked it out, you should. But that'll do it this week for Joe, for Jenny, and for myself, Diego. Thank you for listening. And as always, go baseball. See you next time.
See ya.